All right, let's start the show. So, a few notes that I always forget, but I'm not forgetting for this panel. Number one, be loud, be vocal. You're here, cheer, yell. When I say games you love, you cheer for them. When Colin insults me, you boo him. That's how you do it. Clap and stuff like that. Usually, I don't know if you've ever listened to this show. Usually, I'll say beyond, then we'll go beyond one by one. After Dunham says beyond, then all of you say beyond. I'm going to point out for the record, the New York Comic Con crowd could not do that. No. I went beyond. They went, nah, not exactly what we wanted. So that's the thing. Can we get the video up here real quick? Back to my screen. Thank you. You're a good man back there. Round of applause for your technicians. It should just be black. Is it black? I want this screen black, based on what's on my screen. Everyone, yeah. I'm hit. Now it's playing. See, this is how it'll sound, but I want that up there. There we go. All right, so everybody stop. No, that was a false start. We're not really starting that way. I'm going to rewind it. Here we go, everybody. 3, 2, 1.
Underestimate the power of PlayStation.
Beyond!
Beyond! Beyond! Beyond! Beyond!
Beyond! What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Beyond, episode 371. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside he only does everything, Colin Moriarty.
Go Islanders!
Go Islanders, indeed. Next to him, the star of the video game world. He's taken it by storm. President of Sony Worldwide Computer Entertainment, Shuhei Yoshida.
Yo!
Damn. Shu shows up and gets a bigger pop than we on our own show.
I'm okay with that.
Well deserved. Well deserved. Next to him, the fiercest fighter in the business, Vincent Janito.
Team Fat!
Team Fat! Next to him, making his long-awaited return to Podcast Beyond. Why did I ever call him? You know him as Powerhouse, Ryan Clements.
Hello. Beyond. Beyond.
Rounding out our panel of experts, none other than Podcast Beyond, PlayStation EIC. He's a founder. He's everything to IGN. Jeremy Dunham.
Hello. Thank you. In the words of Jeff Haynes, yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. Literally.
Bring back Blognack. No. Next topic of business. If you didn't guess, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this or watching the video in the back being shot by Brian Malkowitz or Ray Gutierrez on the PlayStation blog, we are live at PlayStation Experience.
We sure are.
In front of hundreds of the die-hardest Podcast Beyond fans in the world. Thank you all for coming out.
Yes, thank you.
I want a round of applause. This PlayStation Experience has been way more than you expected it to be. I have a feeling that the PlayStation Experience is going to rank high on this thing we do. So let's begin with the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news. Colin, how many items are on the Roper Report today?
Just one.
A baker's dozen!
Oh my God, you're one of the scariest motherfuckers in the world, dude. You really are. He's absolutely one of the scariest dudes ever.
One day I will kill somebody by accident. Yeah. There'll be a poor tech back there in the chair will impale him, and then I'll go on the lamb.
A sharp chair.
Yeah. It's PlayStation Experience, Colin.
Yes.
We've been here from the get-go.
I feel like I'm in Versailles or something. Like, look at this.
We are broadcasting from the Palazzo. I thought somebody was going to correct me. I really didn't.
Palazzo or Palazzo?
Palazzo.
Double Z.
For the record, I want you to know from my vantage point, I was asking for pronunciation advice. This is John Drake in the background. Sure. All right. No, he's saying there's a T. The T helps. Palazzo. All right, great. Shuhei. Yes? When they came to you with this idea for PlayStation Experience.
Yeah, Adam came to me.
Were you like, yeah, let's do it, or did you have doubts?
Well, yeah, well, I thought that's a great idea because I never been to parks actually. I have to find time or
You're busy.
yeah, but always watching the coverage, and it's great. The distance between the people there and the developers are so close, and the people enjoy talking to devs and giving them feedbacks, and devs enjoy. So I thought this is gonna be like PAX but PlayStation only, and we'll be there. We get our team there, and we can announce new games there. Yeah, because it's very hard to get time in busy E3 press conference because we get low rating from you guys if we make it stretch too long.
That was my question. I guess is Adam still in the back somewhere? No? Oh, there he is. Why are you waving? Oh, Adam Harrington is here actually. Voice of Bigby in The Wolf Among Us. Stand up, Adam Harrington.
Yeah.
I was like, why is this random dude claiming to be? Oh, it's a real Adam. Sorry. Adam Boys. Was this strictly was this PlayStation experience only a thing so that Colin would get off Shu's case every E3? Thank you. Because every E3 we do that podcast, and Colin's always like, Shuhei, I know there are a myriad of PlayStation exclusives. But I gotta tell you, brother, you're breaking my balls.
I start talking like Hulk Hogan. All right.
I can't do a good Colin.
I don't recall that.
Yeah, but I wasn't expecting we'll be announcing, and there'll be so many announcements by third parties as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what your expectation was, but I was so happy looking at watching the show yesterday. It felt a bit long. Actually, developers are so excited to be on stage, and many of them extended their time, but still, felt great. I couldn't, keep track of, I was tweeting like crazy. Oh, this is a new announcement. This is exciting. Oh, this is great. So I don't know what you thought, but
I think if there's a time to go long, this is when you want to go long, when you want your developers to ramble on and on, because this is the audience that wants to hear that. When you're on Podcast Beyond and you say, oh, we didn't show all the Vita games at E3 because they're coming and we know the Vita crowd will buy them, this is the Vita crowd. So that's why I love this presentation where Gio just gets up and is like, yep, I'm in a hockey jersey. I'm new Kevin Smith. Here's 7 Vita titles. It's like, yeah, I can get down with that.
yeah. So now I know what Gio has been doing.
Vince,
Yes, Greg.
you've been here reporting, writing the articles, doing the videos.
Yes, I have.
What's your takeaway from PlayStation experience?
My takeaway from the PlayStation experience, other than it's been a much better show than I thought it would be. I didn't think it was going to be bad by any stretch of the imagination.
Sure.
But it was much more substantial in terms of the number of announcements. And I'm not just going for a cheap pop here, guys. I swear to God, the vibe here is super awesome. Like, you guys have made the vibe super awesome here. I've been to a lot of shows, maybe not as many as some of the other people on this stage, but I've been to a lot of shows, and it can kind of feel like kind of a circus, not very much about games, not very much about the players. But this is even more, I would say even more than PAX now, feels more focused on gamers, because PAX has gotten to be a little bit of a circus, right?
Yeah.
But this is very much for gamers and about gamers, and I'm all about that. So.
Jeremy Dunham, you bring something interesting to this table.
A beard?
Yes, those are in short supply at IGN and video game journalisms. No, you hired me about 8 years ago to work at IGN.
I did, and I still remember when you called me stuck in a blizzard at 5 in the morning trying to tell me that you couldn't make it.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought you should know ahead of time. I made the stupid mistake that I was going to drive from Missouri to San Francisco to work there. And I could have gone north or south. In the south, there were tornadoes. And in the north, there might have been the tip of a tiny snowstorm. And I'm like, well, I don't want to die in a tornado. Snow's no big deal. And then I got stranded for 8 hours in this guy's trailer. It's a long story. But I called Dunham, to tell him, hey, dude, I'm not going to be able to make it. This guy I've never met who just hired me for my dream job. And I called him at 5 in the morning, and he answers the phone. He's like, hello? And I go, wakey, wakey, it's Greg Miller. And he goes, it's 5 in the morning. And I'm like, yeah, I almost died. Sorry, I'm not coming out right now.
I forgive you.
My thing for you is that you were working at IGN when this PlayStation was this up-and-coming thing.
Yes.
The PlayStation 2 era.
Yes.
Did you expect it to get to this point where the
Yes.
brand... Really?
Yes, that's why I was called Nostradamus, because I knew.
You were called
Yes.
Nostradamus because you made the predictions before they happened.
That's right. And one of those predictions was that PlayStation would win the last generation war after PlayStation 2, and it took 5 years, but I eventually got it right. It happened, but it was really great because at the time IGN was really GameCube focused, not Nintendo, because it started off really Nintendo focused. So PlayStation, as a team, we had a lot to prove, but we just kept getting kick-ass game after kick-ass game, and now I was telling Clemens right before we started. Looking at you guys, I feel like a proud, very large dad that's very happy to see you guys grow up and take the system that we all love and really bring it to the fans. So I just want to say I'm really proud of you guys. I'm really impressed with where you've gone from the start. But yeah, your original question, yes. Yes, you're welcome. But to answer your original question, yes.
You totally saw this
I totally
PlayStation
saw it coming.
trajectory.
Yeah, I had a debate on IGN Insider with Aaron Bolding and our gear guy, Jerry Block, who were convinced. See, these are names you guys don't even remember because I don't think you were born yet. But they were convinced that PlayStation was going to be last place. And look where you guys are now.
Shuhei proved him wrong.
That's right.
Shu said no way.
Shu.
So Shu,
Yes.
on top of just being a beloved PlayStation icon, you're now in the video game world. You're a video game character in Super Time Force Ultra.
Isn't it great?
It's awesome. Like that. Like I remember when that last E3, the E3 before, when that Shu game came out, and I made him. I made the video team. Malkowitz will remember. I was like, video team, you got to take that Shu trailer and edit in Shu's head on the body of the guy. And I'm like, it'll go viral. Tanked hard. Nobody watched it. But I like, what a great idea. And then here we are now. How did that happen?
Well, a couple of weeks ago, I got the mail by Nathan from Cappy, and he said, we made this, character, so they mocked up the screen using, their engine, and is it cool? And I answered, this is beyond cool,
Beyond.
We insulted the New York Comic-Con crowd before this, expecting it to energize you, and you guys are slipping.
So
No, that was even later.
and a few days later, they made that video. That looked awesome. So I couldn't wait. So I asked them to make icons so that as soon as it was announced, I can swap my icon. From my Murasaki baby self to Super Time Force self, which I did. And the funny thing happened, when we were doing rehearsal of the keynote day before, a video guy came to me that, I'm talking with legal team, and they're asking if, we have signed something. And I said, we sent some exchange email. And he went back and said that, oh, yeah, they're saying it's okay.
Okay, that's good enough. That'll hold up in court. Great.
But actually, looking back, I was in one of our games before. It's called Getaway, made by London studio back on PS2, I think. I was scanned. They are doing digital scan. So they asked, when I was visiting, they asked me to do this scan. And I didn't. I totally forgot that I did. Because the game took a long time to develop. And so I was playing the Getaway, and one of the chapter at the beginning sequence, it's a Chinatown in London. And the guy came up and shot in the head and dead. And so I was watching myself, dead body. So I was unnamed Asian character in the Getaway. But that was not playable.
Ryan Clements.
Hello.
Hello.
Beyond.
Hello.
Hello.
You work for PlayStation now.
I do.
So, and they approved you being on this panel.
Yes, I asked ahead of time.
So you are the definitive voice of PlayStation. I would like you to tell me where Shu now ranks in terms of mascots. Is it Kratos Shu? Is it Shu Kratos? Is it where's Nathan Drake?
It's
and where are the
really-
Patapons?
Oh man, that's an impossible question. It's all about what's in the heart of the gamer.
The PR brainwashing has worked. I'm glad to see.
Pre-order now. I feel like I would have to say Shu is my favorite mascot personally.
Yeah.
But that could change depending on if maybe someone is no, I'm saying if someone is a big Kratos fan, maybe Kratos is their favorite mascot. All right. That was Kratos, and I'm horrified.
Calliope! Athena!
Anyway.
Actually, Kratos in Shovel Knight, right?
What's that?
Kratos is in Shovel Knight.
Yes. Kratos and Shovel Knight. How awesome is that?
Now that someone's mentioned Shovel Knight, I will put down my microphone for Colin to speak for the next 15 minutes.
I'm so glad that game's coming. We've known about that for a while, and I've been dying to say something because we get tweets about it all the time. Like, is it coming to Vita and is it going to PS4? And it's like, yes. But they wanted to announce it here, and when I found out that Kratos was going to be in the game, I thought that was actually a really, really cool touch. I never saw it though until yesterday.
Yeah.
Hey, Greg.
He's going to be wandering around, so it's going to be pretty cool.
Real quick, can anyone else hear like deep resounding bass coming through? Is this like Jurassic Park or what?
There must be a paddle next door.
Okay.
Yeah, some jerk store.
Shu's water is like trembling, like.
That's great.
That's it. I don't
Next
anymore.
was panel is about music. I remember.
Convenient.
Convenient, fair. Thanks, Shu, for giving us this room. Colin, what do you want to say about what we're talking about right now? We're talking about PlayStation experience as a whole. I guess, what games were most impressive for you?
Impressive Uncharted 4. Now, there's a little doubt that Naughty Dog is probably the best development studio in the world. And I didn't have any question about what they were going to be able to do graphically. Now, when we saw Drake close up and then the camera spins and you see that it's in-engine, that's a very impressive moment of that of that demo. But what were you talking about afterwards was the design, the level of design of that section of the game, about how enemy placement and almost a non-linearity about kind of different ways to go. I don't know if it's true or not, but when they were playing the game on stage, I feel like he was actually seen before he wanted to be seen or thought he was going to be seen.
Well, no, that's the point of that. To set the
and I thought
stage.
that was kind of cool because it was a real demo.
Right, but that's what I'm getting to. We're sitting in the PlayStation keynote. We're in the center section, so there's the big screen, but there's like a little bit of an obstruction. There's the side screens. I'm watching the side screen, and first off, literally every 5 seconds, Colin is elbowing me in the ribs going, are you fucking seeing this?
At one point, I actually looked over at Colin and went, "Are they wizards? Like, what the hell?"
I'm watching it, and yeah, Nate gets discovered, and they start shooting at him, and Colin leans over. He's like, "I don't think he was supposed to get seen." And I'm like, "This is a canned demo. Like, they would have redone it if they didn't do it." And then when he fell through the ground, I looked over and saw Bruce on stage sitting playing. I was like, "Oh no, this is happening live." It was running so smoothly that I didn't, for a second, think that it was something live.
Yeah, I think that he didn't. I mean, that's just my, when Bruce was playing it, I don't know if it's true or not, but I really feel like he didn't think he was going to be seen at that point. I knew obviously he was going to fight eventually, but he handled himself very well. And what I thought was really cool was that he did die and he did fall through the world, and it's not done yet, and you can kind of see the state of that build. Like, that's the build as it is. It's kind of a nice little peek behind the curtain. Actually.
Totally, and that's why I loved that the audience erupted in applause and support, and it was like, it was 2 seconds into the conference, really, and it's like, you knew immediately what kind of group you were with, right? Because E3, it just would have been snarky tweet, I hate everything.
Now this begs the big question, though, about, when, I'm really hopeful and I'm very confident that we're going to get an Uncharted trilogy on PS4. And
if only someone could answer that. Official voice of PlayStation, Ryan Clements.
Yes, Resistance. Me and you are the only ones that care about Resistance. But it got me excited to go back. We've platinumed all 3 of those games, and we've experienced them many times over. But when I watched it, I was like, man, you kind of forget how good that series is. Yeah. And I want to go back and play them all again.
Well, that was the big thing for me. I've talked to a few of the Naughty Dog devs since then, and I don't know what PR spin Clements is going to put on it eventually. But the cliche thing of watching it and talking about it is it looks like non-stop Uncharted action in the way of, I wrote on a tweet that, there's no longer even an animation to rest through, right? Like Drake grabs a guy and he throws him over, and usually you just watch that play out and then you get back to climbing, whereas this time he grabs your leg, you gotta fight him off. You go to chokehold the one guy, he brings up his gun, you're spinning around, shooting it, and like, oh my God, like, you have to be in this game every moment. There's like moment-to-moment action.
Yeah, if every part of, if every set piece is like that, it's gonna be an insane game with the hook. And the sliding down the the ravine, like shooting guys. It's I don't know. I feel really, really good about where that game is going based on that. And frankly, I feel really, really good about where the order is going to, based on what we played. That game has come since we first saw it. Vince and I saw it behind closed doors before they showed it to anyone, and then we wrote about it, and that game has come a long way since we first saw it. I mean, it wasn't running well. It wasn't coherent, really, when we were seeing. They rolled it out very slowly. And when we saw it at E3, we saw that really cool werewolf sequence that I thought was really cool, really well done. And then we got to play 40 minutes of the game, and I had a lot of fun with it.
I did too. I liked the guns. I thought the guns worked really well. It's beautiful, obviously. Coat physics on point. Tell you what, you're not going to find a better.
That game's beautiful.
Not going to find a better flapping coat. My main holdup on it, and I've talked about it on camera, right, is I thought the camera was a bit too close because I felt like I was missing corridors. There's this one section where you ice the guard silently like you're supposed to, and then it's like, all right, now move on to here. And I was like, all right. And I walked to one door and it was locked. And I walked over to the other door and it was locked. And then I walked way back, and then I walked back to the door. And then finally, I spun the camera just enough to see that there was an alleyway that made sense. But now, Vincent, you and I were talking to some people today. You brought up interesting concerns about the order that I hadn't even thought about, mainly the way they're jumping around in the tutorials and everything. Explain that.
Yeah, there are so many kind of specific use cases where you're doing something that's context sensitive, or it's like, hey, here's a mini game for disrupting this panel, or hey, here's a mini game for drilling this lock. Or maybe the controls change a little bit when the perspective switches. Like what you might have seen some footage of is them rappelling down the side of that airship. That's real time. Like you're controlling your character during that, but the controls are kind of flipped. So you end up in a lot of situations where the game kind of has to tell you, hey, this is how you play this part. And I don't know if that'll be something you turn off. Probably will be an option, but I guess the tough thing about that is the sense that they needed to tell me that because it's not kind of consistent across all of the different little mini games and instance parts. So it's kind of like I would prefer that the language of that design-wise kind of be consistent so that every time I'm in a new mini game, I kind of already have a loose sense. Like in Uncharted, right? Like going back to Bruce falling off the cliff. But usually that doesn't happen too often, right? Because we all know, at least here in America, circle is go back, cancel. In Japan, it's a little bit different. Circles go forward. But here, it's always go back. It's always go down. So, always know X, I go up, and circle, I go back. It's a simple design language. And, the order kind of doesn't have that across all its different little areas. Like I hold
out hope that that's just something put in for demos. Like they're dropping me into a vertical slice that's in a section. Because the game with the electric little balls, you know what I'm talking about. That was really cool. I hope I use that tool all the time, and hopefully, I do it in the first level, so I don't have to worry about it.
Exactly. Like hopefully, the game kind of does a good job of teaching you those things early, and then after that, maybe it becomes second nature.
Right.
And I think one of the cool things about the order, and we've discussed this before, even with Shu, I think at E3 last year, was even though they're taking a lot of liberties with the alternate history of Victorian England in 1886, everything feels like it belongs there. And so, the Zeppelin wasn't invented yet, but we're on it, and it feels like it fits in 1886, and that's really the cool part of that game, I think, is you even have comm links. That doesn't make any sense, But it fits. They actually did a really nice job. That game's actually very cinematic. I was actually really impressed with it, and I didn't think I was gonna be that impressed with it. So that was a pleasant surprise. I'm very excited about it now.
Speaking of games, you were impressed with Greg Way. I host a show called Up at Noon. I do that. I throw stuff right before I do it. Last night, Colin.
Yes.
You texted me about a game that you said was really good and is going to be cool and could be super addictive. And it was called Rocket League.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
This is Jeremy Dunn.
Oh, is it? I didn't know. But this is a text conversation.
He liked it so much, I'm at the end of the table.
Well, so,
Not that he's bitter about it at all.
Halfway here.
So, one of the things I'm really excited about PSX was all of the indie games. And, we that's right. This is where the industry is going, and I'm very happy about that. And there's a place for AAA games, and we're going to love them, and that's great. But I love these smaller $10 and $20 games. These guys are these small teams taking risks and making things that you really want to see that a publisher would never touch, and I think that that's really good. And you know, Jeremy's game Rocket League, I had an appointment to come see it. I didn't really know what to expect from it. We talked about it when you were on Beyond some months ago. And,
Beyond.
And you're this is a little too much.
Why are you restarting it?
It's a little too much.
It can be an endless feedback loop if when we're done yelling it, someone else yells it, then we yell it again.
I know, and then it collapses in on itself. And I played it, and I was telling you, like, I came back, and I'm like, I want to play it again. Like, and then I texted Greg. I'm like, this game has, what I literally said was crack potential. Because
I dressed it up because I didn't want you to be that way.
Because it's this game.
Bye, guys. Thanks for coming to the panel.
It's good to see you.
I know you got really important other stuff to do.
This game it's a soccer game where you're controlling, where you're kicking the ball around with cars, and I think that's really cool.
It's the sequel, if you guys remember. Beyond, it's the sequel to Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket-Powered Battle Cars on PS3. And we have 7 years of community feedback. We had over 2 million downloads on the original one, and you can still, to this day, sign into the game and find an online game. That's how dedicated our community is. They're still playing it. So we're happy to say on consoles, it's PlayStation exclusive. And it's awesome.
Choose a playable ball.
That's right. And it's really good. We're really proud of it. We've had a really good reaction, and we're going to have a whole bunch of, shall we say, PlayStation-related surprises related to the game over the next several months.
And part of that is because of the Beyond community, correct?
It's completely because of you guys. When I was on the show in June, I asked the audience, I was on the podcast, and I asked them if you guys would like to see Rocket League come to PlayStation. After that podcast, in 3 days, we had 40,000 requests to bring it to the system. And we said, yeah, we should bring it to the system. So that's what we're going to do because of you guys, so thank you. It's coming to PlayStation.
And I'm telling you, Greg, like this game is going to be, I really think, perfect for streaming. Like, it's just.
Does this mean you'll finally start streaming?
I'll just do it with you.
Hey, yeah, I can live with that.
Remember when we tried to stream Dead Nation? That was like the only time I ever even tried to stream anything.
That didn't go well for us. Remember when we streamed Monopoly for 4.5 hours?
I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're part of the show. Begin lining up the microphones so we can ask your questions of our lovely panel. You like that? It's an easy way to tell everybody, hey. Everybody watch Brian Malkowitz. Is he going to be able to adjust this situation? Is it going to look at him? He's flexing back there. He don't care. Look at him. Oh my God, the muscles on Brian Malkowitz.
Greg, if I may interject
Please.
momentarily. Sadly, I do have to get moving because I have a flight to catch back to SF. But before I head out and before we do questions, I wanted to just say how special it is for me to be up here with everyone on a very real level. The people at this table. Maybe Shu more indirectly, but Greg, Colin, Ryan, and Jeremy are all why I'm here. These two got me on at IGN. And this guy, I'm going to tell you a quick story about this guy. At Ryan Clements at Beyond 200. I don't know if any of you were there. Anyone there? Anyone at Beyond 200? Okay, I'll take it.
What about Beyond 300? Who's coming to Beyond 400?
I snuck into Beyond 200 to meet these guys. To try to get my face in front of them. It was so hard to get a ticket.
God forbid you send an email.
And Clements, Ryan was doing trivia to give away a signed copy of the Final Fantasy Tactics original soundtrack. I won that copy from him. And then the next day when I came in for a tour, I left it on his desk to give it back to him with a handwritten note telling him the only payment I wanted back is for him to teach me how to join him. And when I came on as a freelancer, he was the first person to work with me and show me how to write better, more gooder. And just means a tremendous deal to be up here with him today. So, love all of you. Got to go back to San Francisco. Bye, guys. Beyond.
Yeah! Vincent Janito, everybody. Vincent Janito. You, sir, and your lovely Beyond t-shirt available at splitreason.com/IGN. What? No! All right, ladies and gentlemen, when the ever-rotating fifth chair opens, Adam Boy springs into action.
I see you have an empty seat here.
You, sir.
Is it on? Yeah, okay. All right, so I guess my question is, well, I'll start off with Beyond.
Beyond!
There we go. So I was thinking back 10 years ago, playing games like God of War or Devil May Cry, Metal Gear Solid. Games now I'm playing JRPGs, Ni no Kuni,
Hell yeah.
Ni no no.
Resogun, hashtag Colin was right.
Hell yeah, it was. Resogun's the best game on PS4.
It is.
After DC Universe Online.
So I'm just thinking, like, a lot of this change in what I play has a lot to do with everyone up here. You guys have a hand in the game industry in one way or another. So I guess my question is, what are your thoughts on your impact, or, you know, some of the people you might say, hey, check out this game, or hey, this review got this score, and I feel like a lot of people listen to you guys, so maybe you say something wrong or something, you know, something someone might not like. What are your ideas on that? The risks involved, or is it, you know, oh, I don't want to say this, or, you know, it's a lot of people reading this, or put my name to it. It's a lot of.
Sure. I mean, when reviewing a game, that was always the scariest part for me, is that what if I get something wrong? What if I miss something? The one I always think about is Hot Shots Golf Open T2 on the PSP.
Of course it is.
I had gotten a UMD test kit, and for some reason in the test kit, it didn't unlock the ability to save your replays. And so, as a huge Hot Shots fan, golf nerd only on video games, I dinged it in the review for that, and then people who had already bought it were like, wait, no, it's in there, blah, blah, and it had to be this whole thing, and like, that's always the fear, right? That you're gonna get hung up on something so stupid, right? Like, oh, well, it sucks that I couldn't change the camera. Well, you could, it just wasn't in this, it's over here, and do that. In terms of saying something people don't agree with, I hope you don't agree with it most of the time. You know what I mean? I think everyone here, everyone listening to the show, everyone watching this show, we're the #1 PlayStation podcast, and Colin and I are not always in line with popular opinion. But the fact is that you're smart enough and educated enough to want an opinion outside of your own. It's as we've seen many times recently on the internet, it's a very dangerous place when you want to be in a hive mind. And that's what everyone should not be looking for at all. You should be looking to challenge your ideas. And I'd hope you'd say, well, it's very similar like when I'm like, I don't like fighting games, right? So when I see a fighting game, I can't give you the most in-depth coverage of it, but I'm open about that, and I tell you about that, and I don't try to pretend that I'm an expert at that, right? Whereas the next Superman video game, I'm gonna be telling it as it is, you know what I mean? And that's the way it is as long as we're all open and honest with each other, the relationship continues. We have to keep talking all that out.
Yeah. and I think, you know, I think more to that point, like, you know, I often say to people, like, we know we're going to play Uncharted 4, right? Like, we know we're going to play The Order. We know we're going to, you know, these big AAA games that have some push behind them that we see a lot of. The things that I take most pleasure in, because of our position in kind of seeing behind the curtain and being and talking to developers and seeing what they're working on, is I like to expose you guys to things that you might not know are there, because it's hard to find those kinds of games. And so when I talk about, you know, a game like Danganronpa, or I talk about a game like, you know, Ni no Kuni, or I talk about, you know, all these things. Naughty Bear, of course. Or when I come back from Gamescom before PS4's launched, and I'm like, all these games are cool, you know, Killzone's cool and stuff, but man, this game Resogun, you guys really want to pay attention to this game. It's not because, not for any other reason than I'm excited to tell you guys about it, so you guys can enjoy it too. And so we're not always going to be 100% in sync with each other, but we hope that you know our heart is in the right place when we recommend a game or when we pan a game, that we're trying to save you time and money, or we're trying to tell you you have limited time and money, and this might be a direction you want to go in. So that's basically that. Yeah.
Thank you. Why don't you come up and get an illustrious prize that was already available in your prize package from Sony? But if you'd like another empty playing card box, right here.
Go Packers.
Please, remove his Beyond shirt and remove him from the show. Here, this is a Warframe code for you too. It gets you free stuff. They sent like 5,000 of them, so pass them around for everybody. You, sir.
Beyond!
Beyond!
So I introduced myself yesterday. I'm the guy that sent in the Freedom Wars copy, so
it's still hidden here. Where do you think it's hidden?
Give that out.
Somebody yell where they think it's hidden. It's not hidden. Huh? It is in my backpack. Come get it, sir. Because the room wasn't cleared and I couldn't hide it with y'all watching me. There you go, Freedom Wars.
I just want to say thank you to you guys. You guys are the reason why I'm here today. I just sent you guys the email, and I've never been to a convention or anything like this, and I just appreciate it.
Our pleasure.
First and foremost, thank you for being here, because we wouldn't be here without you. Remember, that's how the whole relationship works. You never have to thank us for anything we do. We have to thank you for everything you do.
That's right.
Secondly, by round of applause, who is here based on a free ticket from Beyond? I mean, based on a round of applause is how I started the conversation, and you raised your hand.
That's silent.
Sorry, now back to you, sir, who sent in the Freedom Wars copy. Thank you so much.
So, tempering that excitement you were just talking about, Colin, you guys find out and know everything that's going on, or a lot of times before the rest of us, like Shovel Knight, you knew it was coming to PlayStation. How do you temper that excitement with keeping track of what you can't tell people about?
We've slipped a couple times, right, and had to edit the podcast.
It's super rare, and it's mainly the fact that I'll introduce something that you know, and maybe you have told me in the past, and I'll present it as a question, and then we want to have a conversation of, was that misleading? There used to be this guy on our podcast, he'll remain nameless, but he used to do predictions. And this guy would predict things he knew were going to happen off the record.
That may or may not be true.
So that's all
I predict it's true.
Thank you, Adam. Yeah, that's one of our things is we try to dance around it. It's easier than you think. You know what I mean? Like it's more in a live conversation with somebody where it gets a little more dicey. When we're talking, we usually have an ebb and flow, knowing where we're about to go with something. But like, yeah, there are those little things. This sounds weird too, I guess. But the example I gave is, we're always going to talk about stuff. When we make predictions, we honestly don't know if they're coming true. And when I said that to somebody yesterday, they said, oh, so the E3 where Colin doesn't predict The Last Guardian, that's going to be the one. And I was like, I guess so, yeah. When we know that's really coming, we'll stop talking about it, I guess. But no, it's not that bad. It's usually pretty easy.
Great. Thanks.
No problem. Now, real quick, before you ask your question, I want everyone to know that you came to the Freedom Wars meet and greet today, play Freedom Wars with me. And I would say 7 to 8 people complimented you on your t-shirt. So if you'd like to come forward, turn around, pose your t-shirt. Don't take it off. Turn around. Are you coming up here? Oh, look, I love it, yeah! It is, if you're at home, it's cats and tacos. It's tacos with cat heads and cat's tails. Yeah, that's the thing. You bought it, and everybody keeps complimenting on it. Are you now afraid that it's like a thing you didn't know about?
I think it's something dirty.
All right, back to the microphone. Ask your question.
I probably should have rubbed up against him then just now.
You're the. It's too late. It's no big deal. You're just the official representative of PlayStation here.
Perfect.
Hello.
Hi.
So my question is, when we first heard about the PlayStation 4, it was next gen. I mean, it still is. It's current gen, but it's next gen. When you heard about it, was there anything that, an aspect of next generation that you're expecting from the PlayStation 4 that we haven't still seen yet? You know, when you think PlayStation 4, this is next console, this is the next step in gaming. We've seen Uncharted 4. It's obviously beautiful and visually impressive, but is there an aspect of next gen, quote unquote, to you that we haven't yet seen as far as PS4 gaming?
I mean, for me, the thing that's still missing, right, and I know it's coming, is the YouTube integration. Like when it got announced, right, and it was to sharing and streaming and everything, I was like, this is going to make it so much easier to do this. And it still is, right? I can still save my video clips, edit them, no problem. But I thought the ability to go straight to YouTube would be there quicker, I guess.
Sure. To me, this is the way I put it. PS3 had, 512 megs of RAM. Half of it had to be used for graphics. Half of it was to run the games, right? So you had beautiful games that talented studios extracted everything out of to make a game look like, say, The Last of Us, right? Then you had
beautiful.
Then you had visually unappealing games like, I don't know, Fallout 3, right? But these games were huge because they used all of the power of the PlayStation 3 to render the world. And I think what's most exciting is that as the generation goes on, we're going to get both of those put together. And we have some big visually appealing, games now that are, that are open world-ish or whatever. But I'm excited in like 5 years what the developers are going to be able to do when Fallout 4, for instance, is ever announced, or another Grand Theft Auto comes out or something like that, and they're like, we can make a game that looks like The Last of Us or Uncharted 4, and it's as big as Skyrim, And I think that that's the power of the next generation.
One thing I'd like to add is for a development studio like the one that I'm a part of, Psyonix, and for me, the next generation is the fact that we have so many different studios working on games that there's that opportunity to try all these different styles of games and opportunities that before it took us years to create something. We had to find a publisher, we had to find the right person to believe in our game, and now we just need to find fans that believe in the game, and we can put it on the system very quickly. And to me, that's really the defining element of next generation, is the fact that we can take all these original ideas and people can try new experiences fairly quickly and actually get that vision from the development studio. So for me, from a development studio standpoint, that's what I really like about it.
And real quick, for Vita fans out there, anyone play Unit 13? Yeah! Jeremy wrote it, in case you're curious.
I love that game. Zipper Interactive, RIP.
Oh. Rest in power. That's impressive. Sir with the 8-bit tie.
All right, guys. Beyond!
Beyond!
I've waited years to be able to do that. All right. I have a question. I actually work for PlayStation technical support located here at Las Vegas. So I have kind of a weird question. Have you guys ever had an experience where you call a call center that's like a good story, either through PlayStation, through anyone else? If it's PlayStation, I definitely want to hear it because I work there. But if it's anyone else, I'm glad to hear that too.
I can play you my conversation. Hold on.
Adam Boyce, you haven't said anything yet. Do you want to tell a story?
My voice is gone.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just.
Thanks for coming on this spoken word podcast.
Thank you.
I like how you were like.
It's my. Somebody said to me, "Is this your deal voice?" I'm like, "This is my deal voice."
He sounds like a goddamn mountain troll. It's amazing.
Well,
sounds really cool.
We went for lunch, and I kept trying to order, and the lady's like, "What was that? What was that?" I'm like,
all right.
Food.
So what I want to know is, does anybody know what I'm about to play? But no, this is, yes, Resistance, right. This is from Podcast Beyond, episode 35. And this is, I'm going to skip around. Basically, yeah, do you remember this, Dunham? This is, remember we...
I think episode 20 was my last one.
But you still work there.
Yeah.
At IGN. We got whatever.
I'm old. I barely remember anything.
I forget what first-party game we got, and on the back cover. What? No, but on the back there was an ad for God of War. All right, whatever. It was God of War that was advertising God of War 3.
Gotcha.
So I called.
I love that you know that.
I called customer support.
That's amazing. You're like our own historian.
Yeah. What happened next?
Can we turn up the input audio? This is like a plan. Like we did this on purpose.
Oh, I happen to have the answer to that.
Thank you for calling the Sony Computer Entertainment America Consumer Service Support Line.
5 minutes later.
PSP system will power up. To turn the PSP system off, you have chosen to speak to a consumer service representative. In order to better assist you, please tell us what you are calling about. For help with the PlayStation 3, press 1. For help with the PSP, press 2. For help with the PlayStation 2, press 3. Your call may be recorded for quality and training purposes. 1 moment while we direct your call. Please wait.
So this is my experience.
Entertainment America. Please have a pen and paper ready, and one of our representatives will be with you shortly.
I'm so excited about this.
Thank you for calling PSP. Name is Jay. Sorry for the hold. How may I assist you?
It's no sweat, Jay. How are you?
How are you doing?
Good. Beyond.
Beyond!
There is an ad, and it says PS3, and it's got the Omega symbol, and then it says coming soon, PlayStation 3. It's a God of War 3 ad, obviously, correct? It's a God of War 3 ad, correct?
Yeah, pretty soon.
Awesome. How soon is soon?
It's actually being. You actually got to look on the site. You know what I'm saying? us.playstation.com.
Really?
Yeah, they'll show you all the games coming out.
I know, but I went there and it says coming soon as well.
Okay, well, there's no the actual date.
Can you tell me? I mean, do you think it's going to be this year?
And it goes on like that. The kicker comes when he tries to tell me that Resistance is on Xbox. So I haven't called customer support in years. There's this internet now. But thank you.
That was golden. Thank you.
If you want a t-shirt or buttons that you already have, feel free to come up. Sorry.
Beyond.
Beyond!
Actually, real quick, I want to thank Colin because I got into hockey because of Colin. So thank you.
That's what I'm talking about.
Go
Not much
Islanders.
of hockey support in this room, though.
Go Canucks.
My question was...
just so you know, Colin, it's the Canucks, not the Islanders.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
This year it's the Islanders for sure.
I keep getting scared when he talks. I'm looking over here.
Everybody lean in. This could be Grandpa Boys' last words.
I'm coming for you.
I believe it was like 2 episodes ago on the show. You guys were saying like that demos were like you were like wondering like where are all the demos going, and my question is, do you think in the future we're heading towards a future where the word demo will be gone and it'll just be, instead of demo, it'll just say beta, you know?
I mean, I think a cooler future would be kind of what they started to do with PS3 with full game trials or whatever, which is if you want to try a game, you try it for half an hour, and then you have to buy it, or an hour, whatever time that they figure out. They started doing that, and I think that's a cool idea. But I don't really play demos that much. Like I kind of just read about the game, and it looks good. And
Yeah, I mean, even with betas, that's the thing where I try not to go into them, right? Like Destiny, I love Destiny, and I played the Destiny beta. I played the Destiny beta for like literally an hour, and then I put the controller down. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore, because I made the mistake with DC Universe Online where I played hours and hours and hours of it. So then the next 6 times I played those hours and hours and hours, I was like, probably shouldn't have seen so much of Inside Brainiac's abductorship.
But let's. I mean, we have Shuhei here. Shu, do you see any data with first-party games or any of the games you deal with that demos help you guys get the word out for your games, or that they help sales of games? I mean, do you find them useful?
Well, actually, it depends on the game, and it depends on what we put in the demos. Good demos, of course, sell games, and there's definitely the correlation for that. But sometimes the demos might be, giving away too much. If people are very, very curious about the game, PR, they might be happy enough to play the first section of the game and might move on. And so there are some theories or there are some people who believe that every game should have a demo, but there are other people who believe that some games should not have a demo. And you are saying, Greg, we are doing more like beta, and developers are very much interested to get the direct feedback while making games, providing demos or the early version to smaller number of audience and get direct feedback, so that games can get better. And I think that's where I see more devs going.
PC. Yeah.
That's a great one.
Yeah, that was a really good one. Thank you.
Thank you. If you do say so yourself.
Real quick, before we get to the next question, which is you, where is Katie with the tattoos on her finger? There you are. Katie, come up here and show Shu and Adam Boys your hands. She has the PlayStation symbols tattooed on her 4 fingers.
I got them about 6 months ago.
Why would you do such a thing, Katie?
She said she got them about 6 months ago.
Huh? One of the Warframe things? Oh, it's you're giving your $10 of PlayStation money to her. So everybody pass it forward. We can see where it's going. Don't steal it. So
Someone's gonna take it and run.
No, I was gonna say it'd be awesome if it's like Born Identity. Somebody takes a photo of the code. Wait, they're giving you $10 from the crowd because they just kickstarted your tattoo with PlayStation Store money. Beyond. You good sir.
Hello, my name is Alex. Beyond.
Beyond.
Just a quick question. You guys have played in 3 states already: New York, California, Nevada now. Beyond tour? Is that a possibility? Have you guys thought about a Beyond tour across the United States?
You'd pay for a destination Beyond? Yeah. I love how much you guys keep asking. I've had so many people ask me about Beyond 400 here, and I'm like, well, I'm doing the Patreon show. I already said I was doing a live event for that. Can't you just come to that? Beyond 400 is 30 weeks away, so everybody calm the F down, all right? Trying to figure out how I'm feeding Portillo next week. I don't know how to plan a show that far out, you crazy people. But nothing's off limits. We love traveling. We love doing it. It all comes down to trying to time it with stuff, right? Anytime you're trying to do a big event, you'd want to do a cool show somewhere. I mean, this is awesome. The fact that we filled this room, I think. I know these panel rooms weren't easy to find. I know that Naughty Dog had the gall to do a show during ours as well. So thank you all for showing your support and coming out here. But it's always on the table. Many options are on the table.
All options are on the table.
All options are on the
Thank
table.
you.
You're welcome. Real quick, everybody, I want to point over here and have the Tech Tower, Scott Lowe, stand up. A former podcast Beyonder. He's also a damn fine-looking human being, I tell you what.
He really is.
Isn't he?
Isn't he?
If you always accuse me of quitting Team Fat, that's what skinny Greg Miller would look like. So that's your barometer of like, nope, not there yet.
I like how you think a skinny version of you is good. Like you're just like, that's a good-looking man.
We all know the truth. My girlfriend's sitting right next to Scott Lowe. She knows what's up. Former IGNer Christine Steimer. Stand up, Christine. There she is. Another official voice of PlayStation. You, sir.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Beyond.
Beyond.
I'd just like to thank everyone who planned this event. It's really great to spend time with all the PlayStation fans. And it was great demoing Morpheus. So my question is, do you all believe in Morpheus and how, what's the future for Morpheus?
I think Morpheus is awesome tech. I use it and I love it. There's that great video of me in a Team Fat shirt sitting on a beanbag, rocking my head back and forth. And I enjoy those experiences. I just worry about it. I guess it all comes down to, and I don't know if Shu or Adam's still there, right? Oh, you're gonna tell me he died. Hey, buddy. If they are able to talk to you, I don't even think they know. I'll let them off the hook before I even put it on it, right? What are the expectations, and then what's the level for Morpheus to be a success, right? Because to me, it strikes me as, everybody hold on, another PlayStation move in the way of, we got this install base, we're making all these amazing games, and now you need to buy this add-on as well. And then we need to make developers support it. And Shu said in our GDC interview, right, that games need to be built from the ground up. It's going to be really hard to patch in and kind of force things in. So that's where my head starts going of, can it take off? Can it be a huge success? I don't know.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, it's about how the first party supports it. And it seems to me that some of the studios in Europe might be working on Morpheus games, or certainly working on demos like Sony London. So I think their support will be contingent to prove to other developers if it's going to work or not. That said, and I've told the story to people that know, that listen to Beyond, like one of the most game-changing, for lack of a better term, moments of my gaming life was playing Oculus for the first time. And when I played the Eve game, the Eve Valkyrie, at I guess it was E3 2 or 3 years ago now. It was the only time, because usually we're in a rush, we have these schedules, we have to go to X, Y, and Z every day and then get writing. It was the only time I asked them, like, I know I'm bumping people's schedules back, I want to play it again. Because it was so insane. And so the potential of VR is through the roof. It's just a matter of how expensive it's going to be and how we can get it into people's hands. And if they enjoy it or not, they want to spend that kind of money. And if they want to play it, some people just want to use a controller. I don't blame them. So.
Shu, do we know?
Well, we have introduced many techs on PlayStation, for the last 20 years. But this is the one that the developers so excited about working on. We haven't even announced that we will bring this to the market. Definitely our intent is that, but we haven't even announced the final product. But developers, who are already working on VR Morpheus, they are doing it because they feel they have to do it, and many of them believe that this is the time they should jump in, before almost anyone else. So that it's like we are, many studios are working on, and we are discovering so many great experiences that we are not anticipating using VR, and I feel like the developers are hitting like the gold mine of great ideas. So Adam, I saw 2 new demos at the show this time, and made by small teams. And how are they, working on talking about?
It's been amazing how much support we've seen from independent developers out there. Sorry. Hi. But like I met one team at that sounds really bad, at Indiecade, some guys from Ottawa, Ontario, and they had made a game called Keep Talking or Nobody Explodes.
That's really cool. That game's down there and really cool.
So yesterday I got to, Penn Jillette came by, Penn and Teller came by to check out a bunch of games, and him and his wife played that game, and watching them argue while playing that game was one of the greatest moments of the PlayStation experience. But the thing about it is, like, devs, they literally ported that. I saw them at Indiecade 4 weeks ago, and I said, port it to Morpheus, get it to the show, we'll put you on the floor. And it took them a couple days to port it over to Morpheus. So ton of support for it out there. And when people have that experience, when they put it on, it really sort of transforms them. I mean, how many people have tried it this weekend? It's crazy. It's so awesome. I remember I brought my wife to E3, and she tried it for the first time, and she was just like, holy crap, this is the coolest thing ever. And I think it's one of those very transformative things that once you experience it, it's crazy. It's cool.
Agreed. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Would you like buttons or an empty box of cards?
Go Dodgers.
Go Dodgers. What a weird thing to yell at Podcast Beyond.
Well, I yell Go Islanders, and that's even weirder. So.
All right. That sounded like John Wilkes Booth just shot the president. 6 Semper Tyrannis! Yes, sir.
Beyond.
Beyond!
Do you guys see this as being the last generation where we have the product category of video game console, and then we move on to streaming after that?
No.
No.
I mean, before PlayStation 4 was even rumored, we all sat around, I think, and prophesized the ending of the console. This console generation will be the last one. I mean, and then they all came out and sold like gangbusters.
Yeah, the conventional wisdom was wrong in every way about this generation of consoles. And I think that's good for console gamers. Because we were reading the tea leaves set by Wii U, which wasn't selling well. And we read the tea leaves, this is kind of ironic, like with I think Vita's expectations were better because 3DS was doing poorly and then started doing better. And so people maybe assumed that things were going to go one way or the other. But people were wrong about console gaming. PS4 is the quickest selling console of all time. People, and that's including us. I mean, we've talked about that in the past. You kind of look at it and you're like, well, it kind of makes sense, right? But now the consumer says differently and the market speaks, and that's what's most important. And people were wrong about exclusives being more important. Exclusives, or less important rather, exclusives are now just as important as ever. And what the most interesting thing I think people were wrong about was people saying third-party exclusives were dead. And they're alive and well. So a lot of the conventional wisdom by people that knew even a lot more about the industry than we do were wrong because the market spoke in a different way than I think people expected. And I'm happy about that because I love console gaming. So,
woo!
Beyond.
Hi guys.
Hey.
Beyond.
My
question for you is actually asking for advice. What's your advice to young games journalists in terms of networking and meeting people and making a name for yourself? Because I live on the East Coast, and a lot of the industry is stationed on the West. So I very rarely get to come out to these kind of things, and I'm always not sure how to approach talking to people in the industry because it's pretty intimidating. I mean,
Sure.
People like to think it's just talking, but it's when you're new to this, it's pretty difficult.
Right. Want me to go?
Yeah, go.
I mean, be bold. Don't be afraid to do that. You have to stand out. You know what I mean? I always tell people and give out my emails, greg@ign.com. Like, I'm always happy to pass along freelance stuff that looks good to the previews editors, the reviews editors, stuff like that. But then checking back in, you know what I mean? Not asking dumb questions. Like, once I give it out right, when it becomes a problem when, hey, it's 6 months later and I'm just checking in to see if there's any positions. It's like, well, there's a website. Like, there's, you can, if you can't Google search IGN jobs, that's a problem. You know what I mean? IGN careers, keep an eye on it. Now, don't get me wrong, checking in is a great idea of, are there new opportunities? Can I freelance? Can I do this? That's what it is. It's talking, asking, and of course, you're going to remind everyone you talk to of when they started and needed help.
The gentleman, one of the texts,
I saw
we're cut off, yeah.
He was doing this cutoff thing. I'm saying, though, come on, we got a lot of people here. What are they going to do?
I don't, we're going to start an insurrection?
Can we do 5 more minutes? The next one, we'll clear out really quick and do autographs and photos outside. I'm not going anywhere outside, so everybody's cool with that. But yeah, keep trying, keep doing it. Everyone remembers, take advice and come back and show you've done it, right? I tell people all the time, if you want to do this, be doing it now. You should be blogging every day. You should be doing reviews wherever you can. You should be doing podcasts. You should be doing YouTube videos. You shouldn't be worried about your views on the videos. You shouldn't be worried about your listenership on your podcast. It's about getting good enough that when we bring you in for a screen test, you're not just a great writer who can't do anything else.
And one thing I'd like to add is the guy that hired all these guys. Be yourself. That's what got them in through the doors. They were all unique. Shuhei Yoshida? Had their own had their own voice. That's really what's important. Is be yourself.
Right.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck. You don't think so? One last question. Just one, Colin.
I'm just trying to follow the instructions.
I just want to do one last question. Your last question. I'm sorry, everybody else. We will be out there to answer photos. God, it's been a long PlayStation experience, Shu. Yes, go.
All right, Beyond.
Beyond!
Hey, guys, my name's Paul, and first off, where the heck is Marty?
If you didn't see, Marty passed. No, Marty. No, Marty, first off, we were not joking last week. Marty is now in the non-rotating third chair. In classic IGN fashion, we made that decision after we booked this panel. So I was like, oh, we did it. Yeah. Oh, crap. Next week's show is live, and he's not going to be there for it. But no, Marty's totally on board. Marty is in. That's the deal.
Cool. All right. Thank you for clearing that up. And then my question for you, Greg and Colin, it's been like a draw to watch you guys grow with PlayStation, IGN, and then branch out and do everything that you do. What's like... I mean, I know obviously, we're like the drive to that, and everything, but like what keeps you going and how do you find the balance and like, is it surreal to you to kind of see what you've accomplished?
It's mystifying every day in the best way possible that anyone cares what we have to say about anything. And we are humbled and honored by that every day, and we don't take it for granted for 1 second, what people have provided for us. One of the things we were saying was about David Jaffe's presentation at the end of the conference yesterday was how humble he was at the beginning and how he was thanking the people that really did a lot for him and supported him. And I thought that was so cool. And, frankly, we feel the same way about you. We could not do anything without you guys. You guys, have been nothing but awesome to us for years. And we are blessed and honored. So, yeah, we burn the midnight oil all the time when we go home. Greg, it's funny. Greg and I live together. We are with each other all the time. And
when we're not at home together, we go to work together. And when we come back from work, we work our second job together. And then we wake up and do it all over again in the same house.
But you know what? Like, we wouldn't have it any other way. Like, we love doing it. I love being, I've told my girlfriend, like, Greg and I are ostensibly married. And we're so honored. So thank all of you for everything you've done for us.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much more to add to that. You talk about the drive to keep going. I mean, on part of it is the fact that it's so much fun to do all this. Somebody asked me today in an interview, and I think you're probably out here somewhere, if it's, how hard it is to do Beyond. And I said it's the easiest thing I do. You know what I mean? This is the least, we literally go into a room and shut the door and talk to each other. And that's what I always talk about, that you guys, by watching, consuming this content, know me better than most people in the entire world, and you're my best friend. And that's not just bullshit. You know what I mean? That's a real thing from me to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. Thank you.
You've seen me grow. You saw when Dunham brought me in and I didn't know anything and I didn't like Lair, and now you guys have made this thing that no one can ignore. No one can ignore what we all are together and how Beyond is and what this community is, and the fact that it isn't just Beyond, it's a family. And no matter where any of us go, no matter whatever happens to us, we're always together. And that's the true power of PlayStation.
Beyond!
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Podcast Beyond episode 371. Thank you so much for joining in. Remember, IGN.com keeps the lights on, so go there for all your news, reviews, articles, and what's nots. Podcast Beyond is available as an MP3 each and every Tuesday. Each and every Wednesday, we post the video for your amusement on IGN.com, YouTube.com/IGN, and of course, say it.
What?
The completely free.
What?
Completely free.
Completely free.
That IGN PlayStation 4 app you need to go
do
do.
any of this.
I know.
I just zone out.
I know.
The last minute or minute and a half of the show, I'm just like looking forward like at the door.
Follow us all on Twitter. IGN's IGN. I'm Game Over Greggy. Colin is No Taxation. Shu is at USP. Ryan is Plum Cider. Jeremy Dunham is Dunham Smash. Adam Boys is A Boys.
It's at Amboys. 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 Okay, that was.
We have a new segment called Worst PlayStation Network Name. We love it. It's one of our new ones. Shu should let him change us sometimes. This one comes from Yevs in Boston. He says, "Hello, Beyond Crew, and the new edition Marty Sleva." Sorry, buddy. My friend was playing Destiny while we were chatting, and came across a user in the tower. His name is Make Her Cat Moist, and I couldn't help but think this would be a great submission to the Worst PlayStation Network Name of the Week. Thanks for the great shows. Keep it up. Beyond. Beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, we love you so much. Good night.
Bye.
PlayStation